I'm Rob Licuria, Senior Editor at Gold Derby, here with Heike Merker, the Makeup and Hair Department Head on All Quiet on the Western Front. Heike, first of all, congratulations on being included in the Academy's shortlist. That's so exciting.
It is very exciting and I'm absolutely proud of it. Thank you so much.
And where were you? Or tell us about the moment when you found out.
I was in Berlin, where I live, and yeah, so I received an email and then I was like, wow, that's really amazing.
That's so cool. You know, the film's done very well, actually, with the shortlist. It's just all over the place. I think people are starting to realize the amount of work, beautiful artistic work that went into this film. I want to talk about some of the techniques that you used. Before we get into what I found to be the highlight, I want to talk about the techniques you use to amplify a character's fatigue or fear or trauma. It's actually quite important for makeup artists to get that right. When the actor can't do it all, you need to see the effects, physical effects. What kind of techniques did you use on this film to really hammer that home for the audience?
I mean, effects, if you call it effects, I basically used like makeup tools and different colors, and from Skin Illustrator to different mud types. Or we produced like different mud types ourselves in different consistencies. We used transfer wounds, like all kind of, honestly, like, because I knew from the beginning that the movie will be tough and that we have a time issue. So I try to make everything as simple as possible to achieve, you know, a good amount of looks. And yeah. And it was so important to be that you see the people look like, oh my God, they are thinner or they're freezing, or like, you know, all the different level of dirts. So yeah, this was.
I think it's a really invisible part of the work you do, but so important. And I noticed that in a lot of your other work that you've done, but in this one, I was really taken with the clay and mud and the dirt style that you brought to the film that I haven't really seen before, which surprised me. You know, we've seen thousands of war movies, and of course the soldiers are always filthy, but the way that you were able to cake on that clay on the lead actors was so interesting to me. Where did all that inspiration come from?
So let's start from the beginning, because this is my first, I mean, it was my first war movie. Yeah, I never had that subject before or was involved in any of this. Yeah, especially not First World War movie. But also I've never done a Second World War. So, and then by watching like different movies, I thought like, okay, so it's all so tough and rough and it's so emotional on so many levels. So the for me to approach the movie was, I have to build, or I have to paint, yeah, so that I can see the character running through the different levels and the different situations. But for me, it was always like a painting. So this maybe was a start of layering up different colors, different textures, different mud and clays, and yeah. So,
Right.
and I mean, there is, I think you're talking about the crater scene where he is like, where he had like elephant skin mud. So here we had like my idea was like, yeah, it's a two-face. It's a situation, you know, he confronts a French soldier with a German. It's a human being with another human being. It's like there are no enemies anymore. They're just like human beings and they fight for their life, but actually they could also be friends. And so I think this is all like a story together with all the situations we had around. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really fascinating because when I saw the film for the second time, I started to realize that, oh yeah, these two cultures fighting on the front line are so similar. And you know, the boys all look the same, boys, men, young men all look the same, and yet they're fighting for their lives for a cause that they probably don't even understand. I just wonder how you felt about coming into the film. This is a film that looks at Germany's past with very clear eyes, And you had to do probably a lot of research to kind of get it right. What was the pre-production phase for you like?
I mean, like I said, I watched like lots of movies, documentaries. I looked up pictures online. I went through books. I met the costume designer, of course, the director, producer. And so because it was also during lockdown, so we had a lot of time at home, and we were constantly on Zoom and we're talking about while we were basically waiting for green light. So it was not even up. We had no idea if the movie really happened or not, you know. So, and then suddenly, like, they decided, oh yes, let's do it, and we all went to Prague, and suddenly we had a workshop together for a couple of weeks. Yeah, but then I found one documentary about the First World War. The title is "We Shall Not Grow Old."
Yeah.
And this documentary basically gave me the best entrance and approach to the characters, to how it really was, because the footage is pretty amazing, I have to say, and so realistic that I photographed so many pictures out of this documentary to, yeah, kind of put it together for this movie.
Yeah. I was also thinking, you know, the soldiers are covered. They're wearing uniforms, armor, whatever, guns, belts, hats. The scope that you have to work with, if you're thinking about the exposed skin, his hands and faces, and you still was there much scope for doing makeup effects for injuries and making them look like they were, you know, embattled and physically? Yeah, I just wondered, what is that difficult to do as a makeup artist?
It's
Everything.
I mean, I mean, if you go for this movie and if you want to do this movie, so you should be able to, you know, to apply stuff and to react also in the last second, because you're on a battlefield. Like, you film the battlefield, but you also like work on a battlefield. Like, we were covered in mud every day from morning till night, and so it was a rough and a tough movie to work on, also fun, but I forgot your question.
Well, the question really is, because the makeup and hair team, they're so involved in production as well as pre-production, right? You have to be there constantly. And I can imagine you've got all these soldiers with clay, dirt, they look stressed, emaciated, dehydrated, and they've got injuries. And you have to make sure that is constantly flowing through beautifully throughout the whole shoot. How difficult was that for you as well? You're on the battlefield just as much as they were.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then of course, I mean, you do stages. Like, what we did in the pre-production is, so we worked with extras, and I was like, okay, let's test the extras and let's do stages. Like, what is a clean dirt? What is a mid clean dirt? What is a dirt level? So different dirt level. How is it if somebody looks like when he is feeling cold or tired, you know? So I gave so many examples. You also don't forget, like, I'm from Germany, and we shot the whole thing in Prague, and I had a full crew from Prague I never worked with before.
Wow.
So it's also like, while I was doing this, I had to figure out who is capable in doing what, you know?
Yeah.
So, and this was another challenge. They are brilliant. And I mean, I found like amazing artists over there. But still, you know, the time was like, actually, I wanted to start doing things. And then you need to think like, okay, so she is better or he is better in this and that. And so you have to spread it out to the right people.
Yeah. To make sure they work
so
together.
this one, I was like, you know, doing prep, I tried to give examples, and we photographed everything to kind of like, this is what we like, this is what we like, this is what we like, this could be a look, and that. So a bit like, I mean, just to make it right, or to give my feeling, or to show them what I like, or what's good for me, or, you know, or that they can follow my eye.
Yeah.
So especially for background, because I could not always be with background, but
No, you're
I
one
still,
person.
yeah. So because I had to be on the front line, if you call it like this.
Yeah. So you're on the front line, you've got your team in the background, and you're trying to make sure that everyone looks so authentic. I'm sure it wasn't an easy feat. And Heike, on that note, congratulations on such beautiful work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time today.
Okay, thank you.